What's going on, guys? So in this video I am going to show you my top 6 ways of differentiating your product. Now this is going to be a crazy useful video, especially if you're new, and it really is the crux and what we need to do if we want to have long-term sustainable success on Amazon. So you see, it's such a crowded marketplace, as you know. You are lined top to bottom, side by side with competitors of similar products that are barely distinguishable to the untrained eye. And how does the customer know which one to click on? How are they going to make a impulse buying decision and click your product over the thousands of other competitors who are selling the same thing? It's a constant battle. It's a constant it requires constant innovation and tinkering and testing, and that's kind of the fun. Part of the fun of this business is standing out, being different, and what are you going to do? How are you going to achieve that? So I've kind of made a list of the top 6 ways that you can differentiate your product and stand out, and they're ordered from sort of easiest to the most advanced and hardest. So without a doubt, number one way is custom packaging. So custom packaging is such an easy way to differentiate. Most suppliers over in China will allow you to send them your custom packaging design, and they'll gladly print it out for you on whether it's a box, a bag. It doesn't really matter. They can do it for you. Sometimes, the minimum order quantity, or MOQ, that they require for your custom packaging might be high, but in a lot of cases it's not. A lot of cases they'll do custom packaging even if you're ordering 500 or 1,000 units. So always ask if you are able to do custom packaging. It's such an easy, cheap, effective way of differentiating your product. And that kind of ties in to this number 2 right here, which is your main image. Now, obviously, you know that the main image on Amazon is what really captures the click. Whether the consumer knows or not, they generally will, as they're scrolling down the Amazon page, will click on the listing whose main image tends to stand out and resonate. Now, you definitely want to make sure you're abiding by all of Amazon's terms of service in regards to the main image requirements. Like, this is definitely the gray area where he has this kind of 3D rendering of fire and water. This is certainly not intended. This is not Amazon compliant, but he seems to be getting away with it for the time being. This would be something that would be really good right here. This is a great main image, and he actually is a bestseller. I'll get into why it's a great image in a second. Again, this is really not supposed to be allowed. Again, the main image is supposed to be on a pure white background, and it's supposed to be just an image of the product. Nothing else. No illustrations or drawings or renderings of any nature. But like I said, some people get away with it. It can be effective. If you want to roll the dice and play that game, then by all means go ahead. But Amazon may contact you at some point down the road and be like, hey, you're breaking our rules with this main image. Please change it. And your listing will be suppressed until you do change it. That might be a message you get, but it's not the end of the world. You can just change it and you'll be okay. These are not great images. So why is this a great image? Well, number one, it's a very clear, vivid picture of the gloves, and he's got all these free bonuses in it. Now, so custom packaging, I didn't see one image on that list of barbecue gloves that actually had their packaging in it. Now, you're not really supposed to have the packaging in the main image, but I've never had an issue with it. You might, and if you do, just simply change the image. But it's a great way to stand out in your main image by actually including your packaging along with your product, because it just stands out and it looks different, especially if you have really cool, vibrant, custom packaging, and that's what you're shooting for. So The custom packaging not only looks better, more professional, more branded, more trustworthy from a consumer standpoint, but it also will grab somebody's eye more if you actually put it in your main image along with your product. Again, none of these gloves had packaging in their main image. Yours would be the only one on this first page that would have your own packaging in the image. If it were to look really cool, it would definitely stand out from this crowd. So that's a huge tip, number one. Kind of combining number 1 and 2 here of packaging and main image. Number 3 here, a free digital bonus, a PDF ebook. I saw one guy with a PDF ebook down the page here. See right here? So this is a perfect little add-on bonus. It makes his image look unique and his product unique. It adds more value. Okay? It's all about perceived value. So look, he's got, let's see, where's that ebook? So yeah, so it's whatever. It's probably like the 10 best barbecue recipes or something. It can be that simple, and it can be a nice way to stand out. Now, I am not the biggest fan of digital PDF ebooks as a free bonus personally. Why? Because Amazon customers have the ability to opt out of receiving promotional emails from the people they buy products from. So if you have a post-purchase email sequence in place after someone purchases your Amazon product, and if you go through this course, you'll see which service that I highly recommend and use, called Manage by Stats. But if they choose to opt out of those messages, they will not receive your digital download via email, and that is the only way that you can message them after they purchase with the digital PDF. The only way to get around that would be to actually have the PDF printed on paper and included inside of the box as a physical like book, essentially. And that would probably add some cost. Certainly would probably add a little bit of cost to your overall product. So the cheap, free, really, really inexpensive and effective way is just to have a free PDF digital download. There's no inventory, and it's really easy. But again, you might get a customer who complains like, hey, I never received my ebook. I never received my top 10 tips on how to cook great barbecue chicken. Like you promised me, where's it at? And it could, right, lead to a negative review or a negative buying experience for the customer if they had opted out of emails. Guys, one thing you have to remember is that the majority of people just aren't very smart, right? They'll willingly opt out of emails and then wonder why they don't get the email with the PDF. These are just things that you have to plan around. You always have to assume that the person knows nothing about how anything works, because unfortunately not a lot of people actually do. So that's kind of the risk you go with these PDFs. That's why I personally don't really enjoy the free PDF ebooks, although they're cheap. And if you were to get one made, honestly, just go to Fiverr, the best place for cheap freelance services on the internet. Go to Fiverr, pay someone to make an ebook for you for all of $20. One-time expense, boom, you're done, and then you can do what you want with it. So that's my recommendation there. Now we're getting into the good stuff, right? Free physical bonus item. This is one of the best ways to differentiate on Amazon, offering a free physical bonus item. And how do you know what to offer? Well, the best way to get tips and ideas on your bonus item is to look at your competitors' frequently bought together section. So let's head over to some more barbecue gloves. So this guy right here, frequently bought together. You see this section right here? This is a money real estate here on Amazon. Frequently bought together section accounts for a large majority of sales on the Amazon platform. So they're usually right underneath the bullet points in this area right here. So look, he is frequently bought together with a grilling brush. Okay, so I would just write this down on a list. I'll go back. Let's just start top to bottom. And let's click this guy. Let's see if anything is frequently bought together with his glove. Again, we're assuming that we want to sell a barbecue glove here. Okay. Chimney starter, lighter cubes. Okay. I would keep writing all these down and compile a list. Wireless remote digital cooking meat thermometer. Okay, so a meat thermometer, non-stick cooking mats. Okay, these all seem pretty good. I would go through literally the top 10, 15, or 20 of your top competitors. Digital meat thermometer, I would assume that these little digital thermometers are dirt cheap if you wanted to add this on, I would assume, right? Let's check out this guy. Okay, another grill brush. So you'll start to notice repeats, and when you start to see repeats, that's a good sign that that product is the most in demand alongside your main product. You understand? So if you see a grill brush being in the frequently bought together section of half of the people on page 1, then it's safe to assume that a grill brush is the best option for an add-on bonus. See this guy, more of these cubes. So in order to actually make the free bonus work, it's got to be small, it's got to be lightweight, it's got to be really cheap, and it's got to be a good complement, a complementary product to your main product that actually makes sense. So in the real world, would I actually source a grill brush, one of those big brushes, to go along with these gloves? No, probably not, because the brush might actually be more expensive than the gloves themselves. These cubes are being sold for $3.99. My guess is that those would be pennies to source as a free add-on. Let's see if we have any other options. Maybe the glove isn't the best example here. So let's go down. Perfect. These kind of stand out and catch my eye right away. These plastic meat claws. So I just know for a fact by looking at them that they're going to be super cheap. They're just little pieces of plastic, and they make perfect sense. And they go along with somebody who would be ordering barbecue gloves because they're going to be wanting to pull apart their meat and do all that kind of stuff. So these stand out right away as a perfect add-on. They're small, they're extremely light, they're extremely cheap, and they're a perfect complement. I bet you could source these on Alibaba for, oh man, I don't know, 30, 40 cents. So that's exactly what I look for. And wouldn't you know it, this guy, the smart guy right here, who's the best seller in barbecue claws, okay, he offers the gloves with the claws as a free bonus. And he even offers what looks like a little mini sort of brush. So this person's doing it up right. They are, looks like a basting brush, so that's smart. That's a nice, cheap, inexpensive way to include a brush without it being one of those big metal grill brushes, right, that you scrape the grill with. Again, be innovative. You think outside the box a little bit sometimes. This person is certainly very savvy as an Amazon seller. They know what they're doing. Perfect free bonus items. And it shows in their sales, right? They are the best seller. They sell a ton of units, and that's why. Well, that's one of the reasons why. So going back to this list, I love this option right here, and it's something that I do with most of my products that I sell. And number 5, slight product modification. So that can be as simple as, if 95% of the gloves on the first page of Amazon here are orange, then I'll just source a black one, and then I'll stand out that way, right? It'll stand out because I'm just different from everybody else. It can be as simple as just being a different color. It can be as simple as putting your logo in a different spot. It can be as simple as you want, to be honest with you. And I always like to have a little bit of differentiation from my product, at least from the bulk of my competition, whether it be something so small or something bigger. So slight modification of the product just to be a little bit different, okay? And number 6, being the most advanced, would be a completely unique product that no one else has. And this would be the hardest barrier to entry. This would be more advanced. And this would maybe even involve a patent. So number 6 is probably probably not going to happen for a while, especially if you're new, and don't worry about it, okay? What you should focus on, in my opinion, what do I think the most important ones are? No-brainer for the custom packaging, which ties into your main image. No-brainer, in my opinion, for the physical bonus, if it makes sense. Not every product has a legitimate good option for a free physical bonus. That's why I have in my product picking formula, the product must have a viable free physical bonus item option for me to source it. That's why that's one of the criteria for me in my product formula. So, in a slight modification, these are the 3 that I would focus my attention on. Not only are they going to give you a higher perceived value from a customer standpoint, they're going to think you're a reputable brand, they're going to trust you more. Not only will that be achieved with custom packaging, a free bonus offering more value, and a slight product modification, what if you can do all 3 at the same time? Now we're checking all the boxes, in my opinion. And on top of that, these 2 things plus the packaging then also all tie into your main image, right? Because your main image is going to look different from everybody else's simply because your product is different. You now have a totally unique product, right? Compared to everyone else. These things will all tie into each other if you can pull all of them off. If you can't pull all of them off, just focus on 1 or 2 of them. Trust me, it's worthwhile. And if you want to maintain your ranking, if you want to sustain sales over time, if you want to stand out, and believe me, you do want to stand out, these are my top ways of doing so. So I hope this video was helpful. Honestly, this is one of the most important lessons that I could possibly teach you on this course. And yeah, guys, I hope you got some value out of it. I will see you on the next video. See you there.